Just the right amount of sarcasm. We are pulling back the curtain on the industry. We're talking to the experts, we're talking to the innovators, and we're talking to the everyday clinicians who are out there doing the work. There's no fluff, no filter, and definitely no sales pitches disguised as education. If it's happening in dentistry, from clinical insights to regulatory curveballs, or maybe it's the latest scandal at the ADA, we are probably already talking about it. And yes, we are bringing the goods. So it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned doc, part of a dental team, part of the industry, maybe you're a curious consumer, or maybe you're just here for the banter. We welcome you all to the show, because around here, we're not just in the loop, we are in the know. Hey there, Dinks. I'm Dr. Jeff Horowitz, and I'm with two of my besties, and I can actually say for tonight's show, three of my besties, because tonight's guest is none other than the very accomplished, very sought after Dr. Hugh Flax. He's a past president of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. He's just done so much. He's a graduate of the Coy Center. We'll give it to you all in his introduction, but just a great guy, great friend, and an incredible educator and clinician as well. So tonight's show is being brought to us by our great friends at Kettenbach. I know you'll probably hear a lot about their materials. If you don't know all about them already, definitely look into it, because phenomenal stuff. There's probably not a prosthodontist alive that doesn't use a lot of their stuff, and they're a proud educational partner of dentists in the know. So I'd like to bring up my two amigos for now. We'll bring the third amigo up in just a minute. But for right now, Dr. Chad Duplantis and Dr. Jennifer Bell, the three of us created this little platform to make the dental world a little bit smaller, but a lot more fun. What do you got for me, guys? How you doing?
I love that we bring fun.
We bring
sometimes fun until you do the news.
That's true. And it is really a doozy tonight, actually. So I already feel bad for everybody that it's not as uplifting as it should be. It's just not.
Wonderful.
I'm going to start doing the dummies of the week. Honestly, it's getting to that point.
Like what's that show about, the world's dumbest criminals?
Yes, that's where we are. Yeah. If I could anonymize myself and ensure that they would never come after me, then I would definitely do it. But the problem is there are some very unhinged people that I read about, and I don't want to be on that list.
No, and we live in a small community, don't we?
Yeah.
I get it.
So I generally wait until they're in jail.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a strategy.
Win-win.
It works. So what are y'all up to? Give me the rundown.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Can we talk about today's post? Because so I want to give you the backstory. Now you know the behind the story of the post that I put out there today. So I asked the question, do you offer a warranty or upcharge for your warranties in your practice? And you can interpret that a lot of different ways. I would love to get Hugh, actually, when he comes on. I'd love to get his thoughts on that, because he's doing really high-end work, very complicated dentistry. So I'm curious, what his philosophy is. Here's a couple things that prefaced that question. The first was, I had a patient who came in who asked me what my warranty was on my crowns. And I thought, I don't really publish it, but generally speaking, I will say in our office, if you have an issue with a crown that we did within 5 years of us cementing it down, and it's not like root decay or something that I could without a doubt say this was neglect. Mm-hmm. Or I didn't document, I definitely put crowns on folks that I say, this is basically like putting a brand new paint job on a car that's parked at the beach. It ain't going to work out so great, right? If I haven't given that whole spiel, then I'll generally warranty it, but I don't really communicate it. It's just something we do, take care of people, right? And we had great comments about it's just the right thing to do for folks, that shit happens. So, but I will tell you two other things. Number one, the reason the patient asked me was because she was presented with an upcharge at her practice for warranting the work. Then I dug a little bit deeper, not in this particular scenario. I didn't ask any more questions because it was kind of an uncomfortable Q&A. So I was like, okay. I think there are third-party companies now that are providing this as a service, which I think is very interesting. And I want your opinion, but I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there. I think it's very interesting because for a lot of the things that we're doing now, if they're out of pocket is $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever, like we're starting to approach like car repairs and other things that people need financial protection if and when it doesn't go well. And that could be that they choose to eat ribs. That could be that they bar fight on the weekends or they're in Fight Club. Like it could be a myriad of reasons why they want to purchase a warranty. I never really thought about that before. I want to get your opinion because I'm coming completely open-minded going, what is going on?
So there's a company called Dental Warranty out there, and we actually spoke with them several years ago, and I implemented it into my office for a little while. The biggest problem that I have is that if we decide to offer a warranty, it should be on us. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to give the patient a a disclaimer like, well, oh, you know what, you didn't pay the warranty fee, so it's not covered. And that's sometimes what I feel is going to happen. So in my opinion, you either offer it or you don't.
Okay.
And if you're going to offer it, it's very hard to, like your patient had the extra charge. It's very hard for me to say, oh, well, in order to get that warranted, it's an extra, 95. It was about, I don't quote me on this. It was less than $100, but per case, and obviously it was dependent upon fee. Now, where it would really come in handy is on some of these larger all on X cases or something like that, which are covered under it as well. So it's a very interesting concept, but I almost think that if you're fee for service, you just include it in things over, let's say, $2,000, and you just eat the cost or incorporate that cost into your bill.
Hefe?
Hi. This is a hot button for me. So Chad made a great point. I think the third parties, there's almost always going to be something in the fine print that screws up the relationship with you and your patient. I think we cannot have a third party involved in that as part of any agreement between the patient and the dentist over warranties. It's like, you buy this warranty for your car that maybe the car company that you purchased from doesn't truly sell. When I purchased a Mercedes, and they show you when you're sitting there in the showroom, they showed you all the damaged rims and everything and all this. So hey, for an extra $10 on your payment, you can insure these rims so that when you go get ready to sell again, you just come to us and we fix the rims up and you have brand new rims on there. Well, that was well and good until I actually hit a pothole where the rim actually broke. And guess what? It was a third-party company that issued that policy, and their policy was that it has to be because of air loss in the tire. Like there's almost always something in the small print that screws you over when you enter into these types of agreements with a third party. The other thing that I'll say is, why are we using the word warranty for anything in the human body? How many orthopedic surgeons have any kind of conversation about warranty? Exactly. So, this kind of goes back to what Kyle Stanley is out there talking about now. And he's all over social media right now. And actually, he's ready to come on the show because I just think this is such a timely discussion. But we need to be having better conversations about what happens down the road. If this breaks down, this is going to be your fee. If something that the laboratory made is going to have to be replaced, that's on the laboratory. They will replace it. I will not charge you for the crown, but there will be X fee for my time to do this because sometimes shit just happens. And it happens in medicine. It happens in dentistry. Why do we think that we have to have guarantees and warranties on the human body? So sorry for my.
No, I'm
little
glad you
soapbox.
did.
Yeah.
I will also preface this by saying that if you're in network, maybe it's different if you're using a third party that's administering it and you're not making any money off of that warranty process. But if you are making money and you are in network, or you're upcharging $75 as a warranty fee for your stuff, you're probably in violation of your contract. So you do better make sure you understand language on that.
Oh, if I did that to the VA, I'd have a big problem with the
I'd be
US
reading
government.
about you once you went to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wouldn't read about it before.
Yeah.
But once you were there, safe and secure.
Right. Yeah. Great topic. And I'm curious. I think we have to have that conversation with Hugh as well. I'm sure he'll have some
One
good
other
insight.
thing that, as you were sitting there talking, both of you, about it, like, I think a lot of that also comes with confidence. As you become more experienced as clinicians, you become far less tolerant of, like, you're confident enough in your skill set that you won't own the things you used to own. I owned too much in the beginning because I didn't have the confidence to think I was doing it well, or, if they pushed me hard enough, I felt the same inferiority problem that they felt about me. So we just both beat up on me, so for the younger doctors that are out there listening, that number one, we've all felt
Why
that.
do that when you can beat up on Chad?
I know I've
He's
totally
a much easier
redistributed my
target,
anger.
JB.
Yeah, my anger's been totally redistributed now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's at Chad 100%. No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And my teenagers. I pretty much am isolated to those two categories right now. No, but for younger doctors out there, number one, I get it. I think we've all been in that place where for a long time we owned things we shouldn't have owned because we didn't have those risk conversations. And there was enough self-doubt in our own capabilities that we were more likely to warranty things that we knew was probably going to fail from the get-go. But if you learn anything from this, it's that open line of communication with patients to say, I'm happy to take your money to do the thing that you want me to do. My professional opinion is that we should do this. You're asking me to do this. Happy to do it. When it fails, I won't be doing it again for free. And we probably will move over to this other thing that I talked to you about. And when you can do that and just start giving it back to the patient and say, I'm not owning your risk anymore. You make your choices. I'll give you the information. Yeah, I got tools and a toolbox and I can do all kinds of fun stuff over here. And I'm happy to keep taking your money on a number 8 IF composite until the cows come home, because it's really easy for me to do that. And you're just going to keep breaking it.
Yeah.
And,
But until you
I'll be here
actually
waiting
put
for
some
you.
back teeth in the back of your head,
right,
it ain't gonna work.
So
Yeah.
the quicker we can get to confidence and competency in our clinical skills, the quicker we can get that piece out of our practice, which is an absolute profitability suckhole.
That's the best part about getting old, is you get a little bit cranky, maybe a little overconfident, a little bit cranky, but I have no problem saying those things anymore.
Ange and I have always said, we won't tell you when our last week of work will be, but there will be signs. There'll be a lot of signs. Like, shut up.
I think the thing is, the moral of the story is just take care of your people.
Yeah,
Take care of
absolutely.
your patients, be honest. I mean, and that's going to take you a long way. I mean, don't put a price on everything.
Well, look, I had I'll say catastrophic, because Coy says anything bigger than 0 is catastrophic. So I'll say I had a catastrophic material failure in my practice. I will not tell you what it was, but it was awful. And now I'm replacing every crown that I delivered roughly between the year of 2020 and 2022, if I did it in this particular workflow. And
I have one of those material stories too.
And I'm doing it. I mean, we all know about another one that really went, but in my opinion, this one's probably on the horizon of doing the same. And when I see them on x-ray, I just set the patient up and I say, hey, I hate this. I can't look at it another 6 months. If you will just give me your time, I will make this right for you. And I'll put something on it that I feel better about. And 9 times out of 10, most patients are incredibly grateful for that. And I'm happy to warranty it, because I can't physically look at it any longer. I can't look at another margin slowly opening up over the next 3 years. So anyway.
So to Chad's point, I mean, I just think if you let your moral compass be your guide for stuff like that, if you know it's on you,
Yeah.
yeah, do it. Do what's right,
Yeah.
and you won't have a problem. But I think we need to have open, honest conversations up front with the patient to say, here's, you got me.
Yeah.
If something I do is not right, I will take care of you. If something happens that is outside of my control, that I'm sorry, you have to pay for my time when you're here, but
Yeah.
you will get the best of me when you do pay for my time. And I stand behind that. So anyway, we could probably talk about this all night, but I think we need to do some news.
Ooh. Okay. You
Depress
asked
us.
for
Go
it.
ahead. I dare you.
What?
I dare you to depress us.
I'm going to depress you. And I'm sorry, guys, but I really, after reading this week's news, it was like, oh, okay. Stupid mistakes that dentists made this week. Episode 27 of 4,000. I mean, it just never ends. So we're going to sprinkle it a little bit. First, let's talk about a few bad apples that did go to jail. So I feel pretty safe about talking about him now. The first was a dentist and his brother out of Pennsylvania who were recently charged for $32 million of fraud to the US government. They will be serving time in prison. I'm not sure if their sentence has been fully determined yet, but the list of charges against them: visa fraud, conspiracy, money laundering, obstruction of justice. I mean, there's just a laundry list of things that these two were up to. They got the office manager who was also involved with it. They could face up to 400 years in prison, which is kind of a joke, but you know what I mean? Like the sentence is pretty hefty for this one. So if I were to express any PSA from that particular story, if this happens to be you right now, maybe knock it off, because obviously they take this very seriously. Another poor dentist out of Alabama, he's now going to prison for 15 years for setting his practice on fire. He was trying to burn it down for some insurance payments, as alleged in the case, to pay off some really bad debt, gambling debt, I think, that he had materialized over the last couple of years. And then he went back to the office late at night and caught it on fire with some gasoline. The problem was he blew it up, and then he blew up the adjacent business, which just happened to be the Alabama State Trooper office. So I'm sure they didn't take super kindly to being blown up. They probably thought it was a hate crime or something. Anyway, so he's been charged for 15 years in jail. So if you're looking for his practice, it's probably got an associate working there right now. All right, a couple of interesting stories now that we've worked through some of the dumb mistakes that dentists have made this week. There was an article that was published. It was a Vanderbilt and Jada study that came out. They looked at 37 Egyptian mummies. And interestingly, they saw a co-occurrence of dental decay, bone loss, and vascular calcification across both sexes. What does that mean? What the heck did I just say? That means that the comorbidity of periodontal disease, oral infection, and atherosclerosis of the carotid arteries and the heart have long been correlated, way before potato chips and Dr. Pepper were a part of our daily routine. So, what should we take away from this? Yeah, I think diet plays some role in this, but man, there's a bigger problem with inflammatory diseases like periodontitis, and we have to get super serious. The medical community in particular has to start getting super serious about the contributory factors that are often seen with periodontitis and many other health related problems. This mummy study verified the fact that even when all they were eating was a pretty whole foods or Mediterranean diet, we still saw the correlation of periodontal disease and carotid artery and atherosclerosis disease. So there's something to take home from that. All right, last story. Let's talk a little AI. Recently, just this month alone, we've seen an uptick of some laws starting to be banted around a little bit on the state level about how to handle AI in the medical space. Recently, New York has proposed a law as recent as of March of this year, talking about whether or not AI can be used to provide medical and dental advice, healthcare advice in general. So they're identifying medicine, nursing, dentistry, and psychology as areas in which chatbots should not be able to provide commentary or advice. There are several other laws on the books in other states. Illinois has one that has banned AI powered therapy services. Nevada has another that will not allow operation and advertisement of AI systems designed to provide professional mental health or behavioral therapy. California, as of 2026, created a law that targets AI systems that falsely suggest they are licensed healthcare professionals. And Utah enacted in 2025 a law that mandates clear disclosures for mental health chatbots and requires them to protect user health. A lot of activity in this area. Look, I love AI on the diagnostics and support side. We are using that routinely in our practices with many of our AI partners. But when those chatbots are starting to give medical advice to our patients, there is a higher level of concern. So it's good we're discussing it. It's good we're debating it. I'm sure we'll find a happy medium somewhere in between. But with that, that's the news.
JB, that's some Blade Runner stuff you're talking about.
I know.
I don't like that. The AI is now pretending to be a doctor,
Right.
pretending to be
Right.
licensed.
Right. No, it is. And how would the consumer know? How do you know you're talking to AI versus versus an actual medical professional? I mean, I'm sure I know it when I talk to him on the phone. I can usually pick up on whether it's an AI chatbot or not, although they're getting really good. But I don't know if I could tell although I will say this, and then we're going to introduce our guests. One way to really trick up an AI chatbot I have found is to talk to it the same way that you Google search things. So when I Google search something, for instance, I'll say, "Hey Google, what was that thing that I ate at that restaurant that one time that was in Chicago? It was down, it was kind of to the right of the hotel that I was staying at that time." That's how I Google search. So when you put that into a chat bot, they don't know what to do with that information. And they'll say, "Sounds like you need a representative."
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Up I go.
Yeah, I just do what I do when telemarketers call and just be like, the dog's blood is running down the sign and I can't understand it. And my driving has gotten bad because of it. You just say really senseless stuff.
Exactly.
And yeah. Okay, let's bring our guest on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is not only one of just the most incredible clinicians, but I'm really proud, and Chad has known him for a long time. JB has gotten to know him over the last couple of years. This guy is probably one of the best clinicians in the country. He is a very, very accomplished cosmetic dentist, but it doesn't stop there. He is a comprehensive dentist. He's a graduate of the Pankey Institute. He's a graduate of the Coyce Center. He's a past president of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. He's an educator. He's an author, and he runs a kick-ass clinic in the Atlanta area. And every now and then he'll post one of his cases, and I always stop and take a minute just to admire his work, because this is someone who truly loves what he does. He believes in what he does, and I know his patients always get the best. So I know that was kind of serious between you and me, Hugh. Usually it's a little bit lighter. Yeah, there you go. A little, Roy Orbison. I love it. He's also a big music fan, folks. So we've had many great conversations, and Hugh is responsible for introducing me to the great jazz clubs of blues bars, in Chicago. So
Rose's
Um,
Lounge.
Yeah, Rosa's Lounge. And my son actually lived right by Rosa's Lounge for a couple of years. So you not only introduced me to Rosa's, but you vicariously introduced my son to it as well. So anyway, we're really proud to have you. Kettenbach is a proud sponsor of this show, and I know you have worked with them for a long time and have taught about their great products and everything. So we really appreciate them being a partner for all of us. But anyway, welcome to the show.
Yes, I can't, I'm wearing these glasses for two reasons. One, because I want to look like you guys. When I grow up, I want to be like you too.
Yeah.
As well, Jen, I don't know, Jen, if it had, I can't see her picture. I can't even see mine. But with that said, I hope you're seeing the background behind me. But I was in Chicago at the midwinter meeting, and everybody knows Uchi Uriatu, and he was wearing these glasses, and he uses them to get rid of the blue spectrum of light, because we need to be like decreasing that before we go to bed. So I've been doing that for maybe the past week. Kind of look like Clark Kent. So I'm going to be Superman now, and I'll take them off.
Well, Hugh, I gotta that what you just said kind of plays into the question that I'm going to open this up with. So sure. Real quickly, just a short answer. How long you been practicing dentistry for?
Since 85. I mean, I did my residency in New Orleans after dental school. So, but I got my fingers wet with non-VA people in 85. And I've had my practice since 87. It's been a while, long, strange trip for sure.
So I think that's awesome, but I've watched you on social media over the past several years. I mean, I've known you, but I've been kind of like lurking in the background on the social media stuff that you've put out there through your practice and personally and stuff like that. After, let's say, 25 years, most people are looking for their exit strategy. I think you've been ramping up over the last 15. I mean, since I've known you, I've been watching all this stuff you're doing. So the question was baited as to how long you've been doing this, because I want to know kind of how it started and what has kept you so youthful in dentistry, because that's what I would say about you, having followed you for the past several years.
Well, I was lucky in dental school that I had Ron Goldstein teaching a Tuesday night seminar. We didn't have webinars back then at Emory, and like that just kind of lit me up. So so I've really been on that drive for being a great cosmetic dentist. Just so happened my mom, who had her mouth, I got into dentistry because of my mom. But unfortunately, after her first makeover, things fell apart when she was dealing with breast cancer. And she said to me, instead of saying like, take care of your brother, take care of your dad, all that stuff, she said, don't let anybody in your practice ever go through what I'm going through. And I just kind of zipped it a little bit. I'm definitely got into continuing education, but it kind of ties into this warranty thing. My mom, God bless her, had a drawer full of floss, but also she had Mounds bars in there and stuff. So we were talking about warranties. You guys made some great points, and I like what Kyle's doing. I might look into that because I think, Jeff, you almost sounded like the guy on the porch saying, "You kids get off my lawn." And
Get out of my begonias.
Get the hell out of my yard. But I do think I had a patient that tried to like jerk me around with a cosmetic case. And just because you pay me a lot of money doesn't mean you own me. And we went through it with multiple different temporaries and stuff. So I actually created a document based on that, not like a legal document. It's like what to expect when you're expecting your new smile, and make people accountable. And that's my word here. I think warranties are great, but I think accountability is the most important thing on us. Integrity, accountability, but I think also the same thing goes for the patient. And we did that with this patient. I never get anybody like give me a hard time with it because they know you're supposed to take care of your temps. You're supposed to, and then afterwards, you're supposed to take care of your mouth. And my warranty is I will stand behind what I do. You just have to come in on your regular home care visits. You got to take wear your bite guards, all those things. And I can tell. I mean, we're not stupid. And you know, with especially with iTero and with we're starting to get we're getting Overjet soon, so we can see things. It's not like you know, it's I'm not trying to be a crime scene investigator at all, but nevertheless, I think people know, like, hey, you know, and I'll own Paige said, you know what, I've been slack, I haven't been doing it, and I said, well, you know, you're human, and I appreciate your honesty, and we work together on those kind of things. But I really think that dentistry has been pushed around way too long, and I'm glad you brought that topic up.
Amen, brother.
Well, I thought it was interesting. And I think too, when you talk to patients about expectations and all those things, when we go through that risk benefit analysis of, is this the right option? And I'm sure the way you're presenting, it's like, this is the ideal, what I would absolutely do, because I know it's going to work really well. And then they often will tier into some other bucket that, you know, has a different risk profile going on with it. So I always tell patients, I'm probably the worst salesperson, especially when it comes to dentures, because I'm going to probably make you not want them. I'm still probably going to end up making it for you because it's, at the end of the day, might be their only option at that point. But there's nothing about me making you a denture after I get done talking to you about a denture that is like, that's exactly what I want, doc. Like, sign me up, make me 12, you know? And I think as doctors, we're really quick to sell ourselves because we have the skill set and we want to paint a really nice picture of that. But sometimes just being really honest about the crappy journey that's about to incur actually sets everybody up a little bit better for the expectation.
And I think you're hitting another great word, expectation, managing people's expectations.
Yeah.
You know, and I love when people bring me pictures of other people's practices, you know, and we got
Hugh, can you talk about that? Like, okay, let's take a patient who comes in who maybe brings an Instagram photo or something. Like, I would love to get into your head for a minute on a consult when they come into your practice, cosmetic consult. I want an instant, beautiful smile. What can you do for me? Can you kind of walk us through your methodology a little bit on that?
Sure. So, and I'm lucky I have a lead guitarist, Edie Sprouse, who works with me, and she interviews the patient, and she gets a pretty good read on what they're looking for and what's real and what's unrealistic. But one, I did her smile makeover years ago. I think it's 22 years ago. It's still there. It's amazing, and I think that getting an idea of what's in somebody's head, because we can do the greatest diagnostics on people's mouths. It's what's above the nose. And like that patient I was telling you about, I had to create that document. I think knowing who is, let's say, dysmorphic is
I'm
really
so glad you brought that up. I am so glad you said that.
There's a guy in New York I wanted to bring to AACD, but it got kind of shot down because he had a skill for finding dysmorphic people. He could read them like a book.
Jeez, that
because we put ourselves at risk for that. So
yeah.
So I'm very thorough with that, and and one of the things I did, I don't think I have a copy of it, is with every one of my patients, they get a copy of my book. I wrote a consumer book, not just for credibility, but it's like, you know, if you're investing in this, I expect you to read some of this book, and I'll check off, here are the chapters before you come in. And by and large, some do, some don't. The ones that are really like geeked out and serious have read the chapters because they ask the right questions. But, you know, we do the same thing, you know, like everybody with the x-rays and all the other stuff. But with the information that I have, I can start painting that picture for them. I use Smile Cloud so they can see, here's a potential possibility of what you want to do. And that really, really helps. And I just say, here's ideal. And, you know, it's like the bell curve, like we all know that if you've been to the Pankey Institute or the, excuse me, Coy Center, the letting people know here's ideal and here's the extremes and here's what we can do. And I think giving people the opportunity to have that out, we don't have to do anything, or we can just put you on a cruise control for a little bit. Let's just control decay and stuff till they're absolutely ready. So I try to create a collaborative relationship with our patients. That to me helps keep me out of trouble and makes my patients friends of mine, because as Michael Jackson would say, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
For our audience, Hugh, because I don't know, I don't think I knew the term dysmorphia until I had it, until you experience it, and then you hear someone describe it and you're like, yep, that's exactly what happened in my practice at that time.
Mhm.
And it's pretty miserable, actually. And the patients are pretty vicious, frankly, about it, because a lot of it's a mental health issue and other things that are sort of tied into that. So for folks that aren't familiar with the term, because we definitely do not talk about it enough in dentistry, can you give them like kind of a 36,000-foot view of not how to diagnose this or find it, but just to be aware that it exists, like an eating disorder or other, you know, things that happen in our community that, if for no other reason, like help them gasket release a little bit that it wasn't all their fault?
Yeah, I think that they're doing a hate crime on themselves. And it's not just going to the dentist. Even like you go to the laundromat or go, you know, have your clothes done, and they're always complaining on stuff. I mean, they're worse than Larry David complaining. And
which is a strong statement.
Yeah, quite strong. And I think that you can start picking that out. I'm lucky I surround myself with people that will say, Doc, you know, I think this might be cuckoo. You may want to double or triple your fee or something like that, or just say, hey, I'm out.
Yeah.
And
I can't help you.
I think that you have to have that
how
level of
often
wisdom.
would you say that happens?
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you, and what does that look like for you when, you know, your assistant comes back there, Dr. Flax, do not touch this person? Because my assistant has come back and said that. So what happens next for you? I mean, because that's a difficult conversation.
Yes. And I think you hit on a point where maybe I'll dive in just to see if I can get a better feel for it. Because, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit blind. But that's why I have people that help me with my blind spots, right? Yep. And I think that's good to delegate that to other people. And I'll finally like figure it out. You know, I'm a little slow. You know, I'm a little mentally challenged sometimes. But I'll start to figure out. And I'll do just pretty much what you say. It's like, God, I'd really love to help you. This case looks a little too tough for me. Which, you know, I'm you know, famous lies, right? But I'm getting, you know, what does Danny Glover say in almost every movie he did since he did those Mel Gibson movies? I'm getting too old for this SHIT.
You could say it on our site. That's
I'm getting too old for this shit. I don't need that tension in my life. I wear a whoop thing so I can check my stress levels all day long if I want to. And I'm busy enough that I'm doing this for fun. That's the thing I love. You know, Chad, thank you for your compliment about like I'm ramping up. Like we're building a new digital lab for myself because I see all the possibilities that we can do with our patients. My staff is really excited about it. And
hey, Hugh, talk to me about that.
What?
Talk to me on an aside about your digital
offline.
lab.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Offline.
Yeah.
So you know, in what you use in your practice, I mean, we know what kind of dentist you are. I'd like to really just talk about our educational partner Kettenbach, and I want to hear what products of theirs that you love and why, and why is that such an integral part of your practice?
Thanks. That I'm more than happy. And I love Kettenbach. They are an amazing company. The products they have given, and we, we were all with Catapult. We all got exposed to it, and I was just I love their temp material, Visalis. Love their build-up material. I want strong teeth. I mean, I just had to retreat somebody else's crown, and I was like, literally like way below the level of the standard of care. And the woman drove like had to have a driver because she's over 80 now, come to my office to get this fixed. And so, and I still, as much as digital as I do, I still have situations where I have to deal with sub G stuff. I'm gonna go old school and go analog on stuff because I just have more confidence in that. I don't, it's like I hate redoing stuff. After that, to me is a personal affront if I have to.
But you have a warranty.
It's my fault. No. Don't go there. Yeah, I don't do that.
Too soon.
Yeah. But with that said, I mean, Futar, especially if I'm doing a big case, I love Futar and Panasil for a lot of the stuff that I do. And then, you know what? It's like, again, personal accountability. You got to come in for your visits and home care. And we will do varnish. I like the Profesol varnish because it's comfortable. It holds up really well. And the patients feel like I'm doing everything possible to help them succeed. And I put them in the positions like, you need to protect your investment. And they know. Like I just did a case last week for a guy that's just published a book. We spent 8 hours putting in upper and lower porcelain for him. And he says, you guys are incredible. Like you just like, it's like at this point in my life, I'm kept myself in shape. I can crank out 8 hours with a break or two in between to do that. But he knows the investment he's made. I don't have to talk him into it. But there's some people that like, they buy a nice car and then a week or two later after they've had, you see garbage in their front seat and all that. I mean, it's just so, I think Kettenbach's products have given me a greater level of control and give my patients like the Visalis long-term temps. I use that in all my big cases because one, it looks great and I can customize a lot of things in terms of color and stuff. And at the same time, this doo-doo happens, right? And they bite on stuff. And I tell them, you got to be careful with your temporaries. I hate fixing temporaries.
Me too.
Can I get an amen, right?
Amen.
Praise the Lord. It's really critical to protect your patient, protect ourselves. It's a mutual relationship. We're in a marriage together during that process. And I think the approach you guys have to your treatment with your patients, you can tell the people that are cooperating and those are non-compliant. It's like we actually bring people in for their temp checks. And so we get their approval, make sure that aesthetically great, it's functionally great. Then we reinforce the flossing. And some people I can tell they're going to do it. And there's some people, it's like, why don't we bring you in for like a little check a couple weeks before that? If they're not flossing, we don't schedule a seat appointment. We take them off the schedule.
So I think you left one thing out real quick about Kettenbach.
Yeah, sure.
Dan Perilli.
Oh, the man, the Godfather.
I do want to get.
Yes.
I got to go back because I just was dying to get that in there. I mean,
you're absolutely right.
If you guys out there are looking for a company to work with where you're going to get personalized service, Dan Perilli leads the show at Kettenbach. He's a wonderful human being, and I've seen him interact with potential customers, current customers, whoever. On social media and offer to find the help that they need, or he's just an all-around good dude. And I think that he's really brought a lot of light to that company that may not have been so well known before he got there.
In a huge heart.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And what people
Oh, he
don't-
just responded.
Oh, did he?
Come on. Okay, but I actually want to dig into this just a little bit more because in the age of losing a lot of small companies or companies where you have direct access, you have long-term people who have worked there that want to support you. Like, you can't lift that up enough to actually now say, here's a company you can partner with, and these folks have been around for a while. They're there to support you. And as consolidation and the ability to get directly to your reps and get direct material support. I mean, don't y'all feel that way? I feel like I'm losing all of my small mom and pop companies that I've worked with for a long time.
And there's no middleman.
No.
You go directly to Kettenbach.
Yeah.
So this is what a lot of people really don't know about Kettenbach, and quite frankly, you know, Chad, myself. I mean, when we were working with Catapult, you know, the word Kettenbach, when they first came and started speaking to us, the word Kettenbach was relatively unknown. But what was really interesting was that they had been in the background. So this is a German company, and their first specialty was like polyvinyl materials, impressioning materials. And what a lot of people don't know is that they were private labeling these amazing materials. They have this beautiful facility in Germany, and they were private labeling for so many of the companies that the doctors were already using. And so many of these companies were private labeling these Kettenbach materials, and Kettenbach finally says, hey, we make great stuff. You know, why don't we find the best of each little formulation and let's sell it directly to our dentist and have a relationship with our dentist. And they just did that beautifully. So, you know, what I said earlier is I don't think I've ever met a prosthodontist who didn't use Kettenbach products for their impressioning, and always inventing. They just keep adding more to that restorative pool. You know, they got into core materials and you know, the temporary materials, and you know, they're moving more and more into comprehensive restorative care, and now even prevention with their varnish as well. So it's just a great company and great people to work with.
And one thing that they did, and you guys know that because we all deal with people with joint issues, is they took over the QuickSplint.
Yeah,
which is a terrific product. I've helped a lot of people say, God, you know, like come in and say, I'm having headaches and all. I want to make sure I can deprogram there instead of using some of the other stuff that I used to use. It's very simple, and most patients are very grateful that we can do that.
So, you know, you said something earlier, and this is just going to go back to Dan for a minute. Sorry, we're not fanboying you, Dan, but
I'm a fanboy.
As with what we do, we're talking about our contacts at these companies and stuff. You know, one of the worst phrases that I hate is that phone call where you're like, hey, just want to tell you I'm leaving. And you're like, oh, crap, who's my new point of contact with X, Y, or Z? And it seems like, you know, every few years somebody jumps and goes somewhere else. And, you know, hell, if we like them, we buy whatever they're selling now, you know, or whatever they're working with now. Yeah. But Dan's just been such a staple there for such a time, and Dan, you can't retire anytime soon, buddy. Just telling you.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, the QuickSplint.
Lower QuickSplint deprogrammer for somebody who was actually in deprogrammer therapy. I'm sorry if the lighting's bad, but
I see it. It's good.
Yeah. And
only
made it into a true Coist deprogrammer.
that was awkward.
Yeah,
what's
that?
That?
OnlyFans
notification
came through at the same time.
And by the way, Jeff, now you bring it up, because Dan is always open to great input. And I heard a story that you're asking Kettenbach to go back, create a version of Rubber Base because you want to start using it.
That sounds right.
But I asked them if they could make it more aromatic.
Yeah.
Give me more sulfur, please. Sulfur, please.
More sulfur.
And more whipping. I want to see those girls' arms burn when they mix it.
I want them to gag before I get the tray to their mouth. Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, no.
Let me have the sewage flavor.
Did you ever take a rubber base impression?
I did.
You did? I didn't know if they were still doing that.
I was probably the last bastion of rubber basers out there. And
Is that the brown stuff that you mixed on a slab?
Yeah. It's
what
only
was
because
the
of
one
certain
that had?
faculty.
I know that one smelled like, you know what, but
I did.
what was the one that had like almost a cinnamon brown sugar smell that we mixed on the thing?
What?
It didn't taste like it, but it smelled like it when you started mixing it.
Oh, that was zinc oxide eugenol. That was ZOE.
It was an impression material. I don't know. The smell would come back to me. It's been, gosh, almost 30 years since I've mixed that stuff.
A long way, baby.
A long way, baby.
Yeah.
God bless people like Kettenbach and all these digital things that we're doing.
Although my legs aren't nearly as in shape since I had to stop pedaling.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I had a quick side story, and then we're going to get back. But I had a patient, I was using an isolate on her, and she was older, probably 70s, early 80s. And I do find I have to coax them a little bit more to get them to adopt to isolates and other things. And they're like, I mean, we didn't use these for however many years. And I was like, yep. But we're also still not pedaling the handpiece and doing a lot of other things too. Like, it has evolved since your first filling. And so we're just going to lean into this now.
Who's had an older patient spit on their floor?
Is that because they found out you were a Texas fan or no?
No, because they went for the cuspidor and just assumed that it was there and it wasn't there.
Yeah. That's actually pretty funny.
But, it's good to get patients' perspective. It's like a lot of people are doing Invisalign. And some people say, you're going to do what to my teeth? I said, well, we could do the old school ortho. We could pull 4 of your teeth to create space for your crowding. Or we could just create little micro spaces between your teeth and straighten them out that way. And they go, oh, okay. That sounds like a great idea, doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. If we don't evolve, we're not medicine anymore. Like, if we're still doing it the way we've done it for 60 years, that's not a good sign for dentistry. And I know we're not, but I'm just saying, like, that shouldn't be the expectation of patients or dentists, frankly.
Chad, you brought up something before. It's like and I really appreciate the compliment that you noticed that I'm constantly evolving. And we're cavemen originally, right? And we were doing caveman level technology. And I remember when I was a young kid, I played baseball a lot, and my dad would always, I need to replace a glove every couple of years. My dad said, God, you're always getting the best equipment, asking for it. And I think that's really been my mindset with dentistry. It's like, I owe it to my patients to continue to do that. You always hear about the old dentists that like had the cuspidor, had the belt-driven handpiece. I remember going for an associateship at a place like that. I pretty much walked out and did a U-turn on that one. But I think that when patients come in or other doctors want to see the practice, because eventually, I'm never going to retire, right? I keep getting told that all the time. But eventually, I'm going to pass the mantle, have that legacy for my patients. I've got to set somebody else up for success.
Yeah.
And having old crap equipment, just not the way I'm going to roll at all.
Yeah.
Love it.
I couldn't agree more. Plus, it's a disservice to your patient. And
sure.
The one thing Coy says over and over, once you know better, do better. Right. And so once you've seen it and you know it could be better, you can't unthink it. You can't unsee it. You sit down and you think, oh, this would be a great case for XYZ, but I haven't made that investment or whatever. And so you can't either offer it to the patient or whatever. So I do live by that, because once I know it, it's stuck in my brain.
What would you want for yourself?
If you knew it was out there as a patient, do you want to go to the doc that can do that, or do you want to go to the
Correct.
one who's not willing to make that investment to be better?
Yep.
And it can be simple stuff like we just brought on Curodont, like, doing things that because now once I know it's out there and I know it's available, why would I not at least offer it to patients as a alternative to my handpiece? So it's this constant evolution of offering patients the best of what you think is available to them at the time.
Well,
Without a doubt.
I do. I know we're running short on time, but I would love to have Hugh back because, or maybe we could do just a separate segment. I would love Hugh to do like an example of what he walks through on that patient exam, or kind of what this interview process looks like. Doesn't have to be long, but I'd love to see a 10 to 15 minute second on kind of the art of the, I hate to say the sale or the negotiation, but the art of the presentation or the art of the interaction, because there's a lot that goes on, I know, in your practice that you kind of alluded to, but I'd love, a 10 to 15 minute little shtick on that, because I know you do a great job.
Hey, you think I'm doing material here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody been to the Pankey Institute?
I've been there for symposium. Yes.
Yeah. So there was a guy down there. He's no longer there. Greg Tarantola wrote a great article when I went through there. I was going through it with Tom Treatner, as a matter of fact, and talk about like amazing dentists. And Greg's big thing was getting the patient involved. Thank God we got great technology to do that, but just giving them a sense of feel. If they have fremitus, put their finger up there, they can feel it. It really communicates to them. I don't do like the floss and, hey, smell it. That smells like rubber base. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the rule, never listen when somebody comes up to you and puts their finger in your face and says, smell this. Yeah. Bad idea.
Especially you.
Yeah.
But
no truer words.
But I'd be happy to do that, because I think it's getting people's senses involved. So because some people are very tactile, some people are very visual, and you got to find the language that they think of. And it's not the love language. It's just the language that connects with them. And some people love details, and some people just give me the bottom line. So I think there's a lot to that. Sure, be happy to do it.
And that's another part of the onion that needs to be peeled too, is discovering the patient's personality type. So I'd love to hear some insight, your thoughts on that and how that plays into, the consultation process. But great stuff, Hugh, man.
Well, and if we can be honest, they're not teaching those types of soft skills.
No, hell no.
For dentists. So,
but I think the other key test, diagnostic test, is making sure they laugh at my dad jokes, because if they don't, you have to go somewhere else.
Okay. Can I try a dad joke out on you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we all grew up in the age of Johnny Cash, Steve Jobs, and Bob Hope. But now we have no Cash, no Jobs, and no Hope. Prayers lifted up that Kevin Bacon is okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that last part.
No, I wasn't either.
Oh, what a punchline.
Guys, if Bacon dies, I don't know what I will do.
I just am going to tell you right now,
not playable.
You cannot put Johnny Cash, Steve Jobs, and Bob Hope in the same sentence, because they're very, very different.
It was actually a play on Bacon and how much I love
They were all
Bacon.
kings in their own realm. But yeah.
Okay.
All right,
That's
guys.
the beauty of dad jokes. They're very unpopular.
An Animal House.
Yeah. What's that, Jeff?
I have another.
What's that, Jeff?
That was one of his best roles, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
So we're out of time, but man, Hugh, it's always great to see you. Always great to hang out, and just always great to be around other dentists who love what they do and love to teach it and love to talk about it and nerd out with the rest of us. So
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, brother.
Yeah, I can talk about a lot of stuff. So good to see you all.
Same.
And glad we did this. Let's do it again.
100%.
All right.
All right.
I'll close this out.
Have a great night.
Take care. Peace out.
All right. So before you leave, I'm going to say one thing, Hugh.
Yeah.
He might be gone. Okay.
No, I'm here.
You didn't give me the full answer to my question, but I know the answer. I'm going to close out where if I were to ask Hugh what's kept him so young, he would say to love your family, get a dog, go for walks, listen to good music, and absolutely love what you do. So
Keys to life.
yeah.
Great close.
It's great having you, Hugh. And the last thing that I'll close with is that we need to, as dentists, manage expectations.
Yeah,
Good night, everybody.
and we need to set that standard. I mean, I think that's one of the things in dental schools they got to be teaching, not just to get the license.
That's right.
Play at a high level. And I had a guy, GV Prowse, like the George Patton of dental instructors, and he said a lot of things to me. He said, "Boy, you're going to be growing goobas when you get out of school." And the other thing is, but he said, sign your work. You know, everything you do, sign it with excellence. And almost like John Coy's talking to us.
Yeah.
I think that's like a key thing. It's not, like you said, soft skills. It's also just that moral code for people.
Love it.
All right.
All right, everyone. Great seeing you.
Good
We'll
stuff.
check in with you next
Good
Wednesday.
night.
See you soon.
Have a
All
good
right,
night.
take care. Ah.
Bye-bye.